Hello there, welcome back to Profneel. It's a pleasure to have you here on a Friday afternoon. This time with Vaishnavism and Shaivism, both peas of the same pod. Down south of the Vindhyas, there are two very clear watertight compartments, the Shaivites and the Vaishnavites. I'm referring specifically to the Brahmin of the Hindu caste system, the rigid Hindu caste system, the Iyyars and the Iyengars to be specific. Now, the Iyengars are Vaishnavites, and how are they? Defined. How are they? How can you make out they as Vaishnavites? It's because they smear the sacred ash vertically, like Vishnu does, is depicted as doing, as with the Balaji at the Lord of Tirupati in Tirumala, while we, in contrast, the Iyyars smear the sacred ash laterally, like Shiva is depicted as saying. For us, Ganesha is the first among equals. For them, Ganesha is not part of their system of worship. It's only now that they've adopted Vaishnava, Ganesha. Many of them start doing the Ganesh Puja. And of course, very evident that the Vaishnavites always name their children with the names of the associated with Vishnu, and we do it with Shiva. It's very what natural. But funnily, both celebrate the Navaratri, the nine-night festival in honor of the Divine Mother, with equal gaiety and enthusiasm. In a conversation with my former student, Harani Padmanabhan, very erudite, very spiritual, very knowledgeable, I found out she and I suffered the same fate when we were children. We both questioned the elders in the house. How can they be watertight compartments? And our reasoning was based on these points. Now, Krishna's story. Krishna precedes Yogimaya as in the womb of Devaki. Who is Yogimaya? She is nobody else but Kali, another form of Parvati. And the little point from Bhagwad where he says, "Whomsoever comes to me, in whatsoever form, he reaches me. All men are struggling through paths which all lead to me. As the different streams having their source in different places, all mingle their way into the sea through different paths. All men take through different tendencies, though they appear crooked or straight, all lead to me." So when he says that, how can there be a watertight compartment? Everything goes into him. But we were cut short by elders. Shut up and study, please. That's your age now to study. Now here again, I come back to Yogimaya. That's my favorite example. Our favorite example. That was clearly evident that Yogimaya and Parvati and Krishna, Vishnu, are born from the same womb. It indicates there is a sibling relationship, and she is referred to as a Sahodri in the Tamil scriptures. Yet our elders refuse to accept it. And if you remember the Amarchita Katha, that frame where Parvati's marriage with Shiva, the Shivaratri, Parvati is being given away in marriage to Shiva by none other than Vishnu, Sahodri, proved again. Our ancestors were very, very wise in amalgamating Shaivism and Vaishnavism into one, both peas of the same pod, through very many examples. Of course, the favorite one being this of Parvati being Krishna or Vishnu's Sahodri. Hanuman. Who is Hanuman? The closest lieutenant of Sri Ram. Who's Hanuman again? The second question. He is nothing, he is nobody else but Shiva avatar. Notice the Rudraksh bead on his wrist, on his neck, on his throat, And both Shiva and Hanuman singing prowess. They sing so well. It's unmatched. It is said once in a Hinduism story, like all stories in Hinduism, once Shiva started singing Vishnu started to melt on hearing that song. And it was Brahma who collected Vishnu in a cup, and that became the river Ganga. And Parvati could not bear, and Hanuman is mind you, he's a bachelor, he's single, not ready to mingle. So Parvati could not bear separation. So what she did was she attached herself to Hanuman as a tail. Now the tail is Shakti. Shakti was his tail, the tail of the rudder. Now the amount of force generated by the aircraft or the motion by the object in motion, it is controlled by the tail, by the rudder. And remember that Hanuman smoldered Sri Lanka to ashes with his tail. Shakti. Buddha, an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. I mean, laughable, is it not? How can Buddha be an incarnation of Lord Vishnu? I mean, with Krishna, Parshurama, Rama, how can Buddha be there? But it was a smart tactic by our ancestors that due to our rigid caste system, the suppressed, oppressed lower castes were being converted into Buddhism because they were not getting their dignity here. They were not allowed to they were not allowed to go into temples where the upper castes were allowed to. So they were going away to Buddhism where they were giving dignity. So to bring back them into the Hindu mainstream, our ancestors devised this technique, this tactic to bring back them. That was how Buddha became an incarnation of Vishnu. Ayyappan, my favorite story again, is for me he's a concept and then a god. Knowing that this society was not egalitarian, our ancestors devised a technique or a tactic to make it egalitarian. They created Ayyappan. How? Offspring, a son born due to its cosmic forces, meeting of the cosmic forces of Shiva and Mohini. And who's Mohini but Vishnu in a lady form? So Ayyappan was born. There was a 41-day austerity period to go to Sabrimala. He's a lot of Sabrimala. And all men, regardless of their caste, community, anybody could go there. And they had to grow their beard, they had to grow their tresses. There's a certain 41-day austerity period that they go through, certain practices, celibacy was another thing. And then they became one. They were termed as Ayyappans, regardless of caste, community, etc. So they all were, you could not differentiate one Ayyappan from another, dressed in the traditional black dress. I mean, so there are these Ayyappan, then these Ayyappans could go to any temple they wanted to, because they're all one, integrated as one, instead of being differentiated among caste and community, wearing the same black garment. Our ancestors, I think it's time to pay, our respect to them. They're such fantastic people. They amalgamated Vaishnavism and Shaivism, but we fail to remember these little stories, the little examples, to understand how Shaivism and Vaishnavism are peas of the same pod. We stuck to the stories but didn't learn the message. Accept the message. Embrace the twist to enjoy the turn. Thank you. Bye-bye.